So let's see what is ArcGIS Workflow Manager. ArcGIS Workflow Manager is a scalable workflow management system. So that basically orchestrate your GIS as well as non-GIS processes. As you are aware, every organization has their own workflows. It can be a simple editing workflow or it can be an approval workflow. So and that workflow will have multiple steps, and those steps can be, let's say, performed by different users in your organization or different groups. So with the help of ArcGIS Workflow Manager, you can automate and streamline that entire process. So it's basically called history or job tracking application. This Workflow Manager provides a framework where you can increase your productivity by automating the workflow. It also helps you to communicate effectively with your team members. Then it basically provides you industry-based standards, and you can also get some of the best practices which are available. And of course, the most important parameters that you can do or that you can configure with Workflow Manager is configuring location, right? So which is basically your GIS related workflow. So basically you can select any LOI basically or AOI, area of interest, and perform or run that workflow inside that area of interest. So we'll see what exactly it does and how we can configure Workflow Manager in ArcGIS environment. So ArcGIS Workflow Manager is, you can say it's kind of an extension or a role which is available for your both ArcGIS Pro as well as your ArcGIS Server. So let's see this particular example here, which is basically a standard workflow followed by any organization, right? So as you can see, the first request is basically submitting a request, job request or any request, which is basically all about completing the work. Okay. So as I mentioned, few examples such as editing, approvals. It can be a simple map change request, right? All of those workflows that I just mentioned has certain steps such as submitting, review the job, and then delivering the product, right? All this has certain parameters with it, such as sometimes you will face challenges related to scalability, right? Let's say you have an organization where hundreds of users are basically accessing that workflow and all, right? So there comes the scalability. ArcGIS Workflow Manager, you can scale those your like increased work and all. So you can accommodate many users in that workflow and scale the workflow as per your requirement. And many times, as you know, so the requirements are not clear, right? So requirements are ambiguous and they need to be like properly streamlined. So there the Workflow Manager can be helpful to you. Then comes consistent deliverables, right? So you need to streamline that also. That can also be achieved with the help of ArcGIS Workflow Manager. And also you can avoid duplication of efforts, then auditability, and you can prevent loss of knowledge while running the entire workflow. So the workflow, the sample that you are seeing, as you can see, there are like multiple steps, and you can see these arrows, right? So these arrows basically defines the like progression as well as to which department or to which user it needs to be assigned, so that everything can be easily configured with the help of ArcGIS Workflow Manager. Let's see here. As I talked about these challenges, so how we can use ArcGIS Workflow Manager and let's see what are the benefits that we get out of it. Yes, the first one being most important, like the improving data quality, then reducing risk and increasing trust. Definitely like improving the increasing the user satisfaction, increasing productivity within your organization, and improving knowledge transfer. So these are some of the benefits that you get from the ArcGIS Workflow Manager. Also, as I mentioned, it basically uses location as one of the important parameter for your workflows. So this is the one of the important slide which will help you to understand where exactly ArcGIS Workflow Manager can be used. Right? As you are aware, like We do have multiple agencies, multiple departments, or multiple companies working for like various sectors, be it your defense, be it your land records, be it your what you can say utility. All of them can benefit from your ArcGIS Workflow Manager. Let's take one example of a environmental review, right? So as you're aware, environmental review requires multiple approvals from multiple departments, right? Let's say I work for one mining agency and I want to set up one mining plant. So I need to complete first of all the environmental impact assessment. Once I do that, I will submit a request with, let's say, district agency for the approval. Then that agency will go to the state environmental department or ministry, like that. Okay. So based on that, as you can see, multiple stakeholders are involved, and each one of the we need approval from each one of them. So like that, you can configure your workflow and involve multiple stakeholders. Another request would be network management for the utility like customers, where let's say I want to set up or extend my utility network or add new service connections or perform inspections and all. Those can be easily planned with the help of ArcGIS Workflow Manager. Another interesting example would be land management, right? Let's say I own a piece of parcel, and I have like sold part of it to my either brother or any other user, citizen, right? So I want to like, I have raised a request with the land records department. So what the department will do, they will like initiate the workflow, and the workflow will have, let's see, multiple steps starting with like checking documents validity or the checking request itself, right? Whether the request is valid coming from a like authorized user, the land owner, and all that. Then it goes to different user, where the user will like go through the existing documents, then send an email. So the workflow can involve your non-GIS steps, such as sending an email. Also, then the field service has to be carried out. Then editing needs to be done. So for editing, you can either use ArcGIS Pro, or for basic editing, you can use web apps which are available, as well as mobile apps, definitely, right? So that is one kind of an example. Also, providing permits that we talked about, forest inventory management, or simply request for support and information. Also, we have here something called asset alarm management. So all these, so be it any agency or any domain, ArcGIS Workflow Manager will be helpful in that scenario. So we do have a vision here, as you can see. As you are aware, EC has like EC is a platform, and where do we have desktop products, server products, web-based, cloud, as well as our mobile field operation apps. This workflow manager basically sits in all of those, right? So it's basically starts with your server and web. So where you create a workflow with the help of ArcGIS Workflow Manager web application. So that's one of the application where you design the workflow, right? So the administrator, based on his privileges, will create those workflows, design those workflows, and then assign it to the different users. And in the underlining, you have those your hardwares or ArcGIS server, or you can say a cloud environment, that deployment basically, right? Then in certain scenarios, you need to access that workflow in ArcGIS desktop, basically ArcGIS Pro. So that can be also achieved. So you can consume the workflows that you have created in the web in ArcGIS Pro. So we'll see the example why we need to access workflow in ArcGIS Pro, right? So one possible example would be like using editing tools, advanced editing tools of ArcGIS Pro, right? Let's say you have a team which is working on updation of transportation need for, let's say, given a city of Kolkata or any city. So the team will prepare the maps for that purpose. You can conduct drone survey, you can get latest satellite imagery and all, and based on that, you can start the editing or digitization. So in certain scenarios, you might need like advanced editing tools, right? So there, the ArcGIS Pro Workflow Manager extensions come into the picture, right? Or simply we can say ortho analysis also you want to perform. There also ArcGIS Workflow Manager desktop edition can be helpful. Now we can also integrate your mobile apps to Workflow Manager. So I'll show you how this can be done. So there is one extra step that needs to be done, but with time you will see that will be completely integrated with Workflow Manager. So that's like the upcoming plan. Okay. So this is how overall it works in the backend. Let me show you that as well. So here are some of the deployment options for the Workflow Manager. So as here we have seen like Workflow Manager is it's available for desktop and web. Now here we'll see how it works in the backend, right? First of all, the workflow is available as a role for ArcGIS Enterprise, as you know, which is our on-premises or cloud deployment, and ArcGIS Online, which is a SaaS product, software as a service product. So for that as well, ArcGIS Workflow Manager is available. So this came recently around one and a half year back. We released ArcGIS Workflow Manager for ArcGIS Online. Then comes the web application, which is available for both ArcGIS Enterprise as well as ArcGIS Online. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, the Workflow Manager web application is the one where you design those workflows, right? Where you administrate those workflows, you manage those and work with those workflows. So this access will be given to the different users, and based on the privileges, they can either just create those workflows or work with it. And yeah, this Workflow Manager is also available as an optional for Pro. There might be scenarios that you might not even require this extension. So let's say your workflows doesn't involve advanced editing, right? So you don't need to work or have a Workflow Manager extension license for that. You can simply run all your workflows or the what you can say steps from the Workflow Manager web application itself. Okay. And further, if you think you need to extend that workflow that comes out of the box, you can use this APIs available. So with the help of REST API, Python, and JavaScript, you can further extend ArcGIS Workflow Manager. So this can be like, let's say you have certain requirements which are currently not available in the app that comes out of the box. So you can use those APIs to extend it. So this is the overall picture of Workflow Manager, how it fits into the ArcGIS platform, right? See, it talks about the architecture for the ArcGIS Enterprise. So as you can see, ArcGIS Enterprise based deployment has all these 4 components, right? Starting with your portal, which is a user management or content management system, where you put your REST services or image services, ArcGIS data store, a hosting server, right? You can put your relational or tile cache data, and the ArcGIS web adapter, which basically integrates your ArcGIS server or portal with the web server. Can be IIS or Tomcat, right? So Workflow Manager sits right before ArcGIS server. We call that as a capability server. Kind of a rule. It's not extension. We call that as a rule because we need to have a separate machine or separate virtual machine for that. So it has to be separate from your ArcGIS server instance, right? So this is basically for the performance and scalability. It's one of the slide earlier, right? Scalability, it's always recommended to have a separate instance for Workflow Manager, and it runs. So what you require by first of all is a base deployment and parallelly Workflow Manager instance. And apart from that, what we get is under the Workflow Manager, just like other apps such as ArcGIS Dashboard or Experience Builder. So we do have this app available called Workflow, which I've been mentioning since like beginning. And then comes the tables or the services that are associated with Workflow Manager are always stored in ArcGIS data store. So as a workflow repository. Okay. Like let's say you create workflow and it basically creates certain the services associated with that workflow. And all the underlying tables, system tables, everything will get stored in that particular service. Yes. So you can see here in the screen capture here. So the app launcher has already listed this Workflow Manager app. So this is how you launch or access the Workflow Manager web application. This is the web page, dedicated web page of the Workflow Manager. As you can see here, you can see the create workflow item button is there, with which you can create the workflow. Then comes in the backend or in the content, you will be able to see, as I mentioned earlier, all these workflow related items, right? In your content, portal content, or this is even similar to your ArcGIS Online as well. So like the interface, the way it works, it's kind of same. Except as you know, ArcGIS Workflow Manager for enterprise, we should require a base deployment, but for ArcGIS Online, you can directly access the web app from the app launcher. And there also, all these items or services will get created. So you can see the first one as a test workflow. You can see this icon here and followed by all the items related to it. This is the one of the interface, again, one of the tab of the Workflow Manager web app. So you can clearly see there are three different buttons or tabs available here. One is the design, where you design those workflows. Manage tab is basically kind of dashboard view, right? So let's say management wants to see how many jobs are running, their status and all. So those can be visualized or accessed from this particular web page called manage. And to run those workflows, like to run the workflow from a different user or as a different group, you can access that work tab. And here you can see the job details, like job one, as you can see, the priority of the job, the assigned user, I mean to which user it's assigned, the status of it, and scheduled date and all, right? So let's say the job has to be completed by, let's say, next weekend or something like that. Everything can be accessed from the this particular details page. And at the top, you'll be able to see the user signed in, right? So a Workflow Manager uses that users which are available in your ArcGIS Enterprise portal as well as your ArcGIS Online. So those are your default users. So it can be your inbuilt users, portal inbuilt, or your what you can say AD users, enterprise logins, right? Like if your organization using enterprise logins, those users can be also added here. So let's see some of the key features before we jump into the demonstration part. So what are the things or features which are, as you can say, capabilities basically, right? Which are available with the ArcGIS Workflow Manager. So starting with, it will have its own workflow diagram. This here, as you can see. So some of you might have seen some demos or videos on Workflow Manager, right? So it's basically kind of looks similar to your model builder. So where you create model, right? So models will have multiple tools inside that and will have a path like from which direction it should go. So it's similar to that. But here in the Workflow Manager, you can also add non-GIS workflows, right? Step specific, such as I mentioned, sending an email. It's not GIS related step, but it can be easily incorporated. Then it will have a location parameter, which we call that AO, area of interest, or job location, work assignment. So this application is basically also called job tracking application, meaning, I mean, we used to call it earlier. So you can track how many users are there, how many users are working on how many jobs and all that. And you can monitor the progress, right? Let's say there is a user called X who is working currently on a couple of jobs. So you can see the status of it, and based on that, you can manage your workload also. Workflow prioritization, meaning like high, low, medium, or that kind of priority, right? Like if it's high priority or critical, so you can define the due date. It has to be completed by tomorrow, something like that, right? Controlled access, as I mentioned, the entire the security has been controlled by your portal or ArcGIS Online users, right? So the administrator basically controls everything. So based on the rule or the privilege that you have, everything will be controlled, right? Let's say you are one of the user who can only access the workflow, and if you're a publisher, you can also create some content out of it, right? Notifications. So you can configure your organization's SMTP email server with it, and basically get the notifications on your email, right? Then track work progress, you can track history, work history you can see, like let's say there is a workflow called streetlights maintenance, right? So you can see for a particular area, let's say like to change the bulbs or something like that, it took 1 week. So you can see like the date it started and the date we finished it, the work. Then you can also have some job and business properties incorporated here. You can also incorporate or integrate your enterprise geodatabase quickly. Let's say you're using branch versioning dataset with the Postgres or Oracle or a SQL Server. You can integrate that database here. Document integration. So let's say you want to add some spreadsheets or PDF with the workflow, that can be easily attached. Also, you can automate the entire workflow with the help of your geoprocessing or Python tools. Let's say you want to do analysis that needs to be carried out, let's say at the end of the day, midnight. So you can simply schedule the Python script or Python geoprocessing tool and do the work, right? Webhooks also can be integrated for automation. So I will show you one of the example how webhook will be helpful here. So just let me tell you like quickly here one example. Let's say you have an organization and where you have received request from survey 123, right? So the department, another department has raised a request for certain activity with the from the survey 123 page. They have submitted the request. So to create the workflow job automatically, we can use the workflow webhooks there. Like job creation is one of the capability that you can configure with the help of webhooks. Okay, automatic job creation. Web requests you can handle if you have any APIs, data is coming from there, you can handle those or configure this web request. And scheduling work, yes, that can be also configured. Now let's move to the demonstration, and in the end we'll have a QA session. So let me show you quickly what workflow that we have created for this demonstration. As you can see here, this is the workflow manager of dedicated web page, where you can see the symbol here and the name of the workflow, and you can see the user that is logged in. You can see there are multiple tabs at the top: design, manage, work, and on your left hand side you will see the diagrams tab, where you can see workflow diagrams, then job templates, then comes your email templates and all, and settings tab. So under the settings you can see workflow groups and all there, and from general setting you can configure your SMTP and all, like if you have email server, Outlook or Gmail, that can be configured here to receive the notifications. So apart from that, let me show you one quick workflow. So the scenario here that I'm going to show you for this session is all about land records administration. So as you're aware, land records administration is all about maintaining the your property records and right. So let's say, so the request is, first of all, show you what the request is all about. Let's say this form is available with the citizen. Let's say the department has created one survey form to create a request, right? So the request can be a name correction for the parcel or partition deed. Let's say the user, he or she wants to sell property to his cousin or something like that, part of the property. Ownership is about to change, add co-owner, updating documents, okay, all this. So this web page will be available to the citizens. and simply we can configure also Aadhaar based authentication and all. Once we do that, let's say email and it should basically goes to the proper citizen, right? Let's say this request is all about partition deed, and I have mentioned the survey number here. I can give name also here. Let's say just, and here you can see the parcels also. This window is basically for visualization. From here, I can provide the attachments or basically property related documents to the department, right? Such as your sale deed, partition deed, or plot report, and all that documents, right? And I'll go ahead and simply submit from here. So the department will receive the request in their Survey 123 web page, right? So as soon as the request is received, we can, or the person responsible for creating the job or will access that workflow and start the what you can say, run the steps basically one by one, right? Let me show you here now what this workflow contains and all. So you can see this is a classic workflow. You can see the structure of it, and these individual things, or you can see, are called steps, individual steps, and you can see the direction in which it's going to move, right? So first is starting the job, updating job properties, one of the steps there, adding attachments for verification. Let's say these first steps, 3 steps are done by one user, and the person, the administrator will validate the documents submitted by the citizen, something like that, right? So it's basically like work has been divided between either departments or multiple users. Then send an email to the applicant that we have accepted your request and we will work on that and update you accordingly, something like that. If the documents are not like valid, we can go ahead and separately like close that request immediately. Then comes after the email job map preparation, where this is kind of a like manual step where you will be asked to prepare the maps if needed, if not prepared already. Then define the location. So as you are aware, we have selected parcel number 54 or something. So you can provide that particular exact location of a parcel here in this table. Send an email to the admin that we have defined the location, send it to the editing team that you are about to receive one of this parcel. Then this step is basically all about accessing this workflow in ArcGIS Pro. So where we do the modifications using ArcGIS Pro inbuilt advanced editing tools. Then it gets next to the field survey, where we'll be asked whether field survey is needed or not. If needed, we'll go ahead and we'll perform the next step, which is reviewing the edits, right? So once the editing team does their job here, the field team will complete the job here, then it goes to the QA/QC team for reviewing those edits made by the field team as well as the edit team. Then it goes to the editor that we have processed your request. Then we'll send an email to the applicant that we have processed your request and you will receive the physical copy very soon to your provider address. And then this step is all about sending the physical documents to the applicant's address now. So this will be done by, let's say, the team who is responsible for dissemination of data. And then in the end, finish the job. So this is the workflow overall that we have created. And you might think this is kind of a doesn't fit my organization and all. No issues. So everything what you're seeing right now is configurable. So if you see these tools on your left hand side, you will see all the steps have been added from here. Let's say you want to add now a job called run geoprocessing service, right? So you'll simply drag and drop that tool here, configure it, and run as per your business requirement. Or if you want to configure survey 123 here, you can simply access that particular step here. So this all design part will be it's like configurable, and you can configure that as per your business requirement, because this one is meant for the land records. Okay. So let's just go ahead and delete those. Now let's run this complete workflow and let's see how it works. Tab here, which is called work tab. Go ahead and create one workflow here. See, Just take a few seconds. I think job 7 is created for us now. Let's run the job here. So you can see all the details here. Priority is low as of now. And at the bottom, you will be able to sum up the information. Let's say I'm the admin here. I will go ahead and process this request. So request is all about partition deed and process. And by clicking here, I can see entire workflow and the current step that we're running. You can select this is highlighted. So you're going to run all the steps. Then next is all about adding attachments. So let's do that. I will just go ahead. And also attach from here. Let's do that. Let's say we'll provide some files such as say need partition deed, now sale deed, all these documents can be easily attached. And we go ahead and provide the approval. As you can see, there is a question here. We'll go ahead and provide approval. If the admin or the person responsible rejects it, it goes to this step called manual step. And so go ahead and send an email to the applicant. So the applicant will receive email that the department, we as a department has processed the request. So we will process it and let you know. So that can be like, you can create email templates as well. So next step is all about map preparation, and parallelly you can see here there are multiple tabs, right? So let's say I want to put some notes here. So I'll just copy here what documents needs to be validated in, like land records, land map, valuation of property, registration fee. Put notes here. I can also put comment here like invalid email ID of the user, something like that. Are different and commits are different, right? You can also, under the attachment, you can also attach some SOP also, like how if you have to see how if all the what you can say everything is getting accessed properly or not. So you can attach the SOP here with this, right? We're at this map preparation. Let's proceed with the next step. And parallelly, if you see this last tab history, everything is getting recorded here. As you can see, map preparation took 1 minute, 2 seconds, something like that. So you can see if the user is spending too much time on that or something like that. You can track everything, right? Next. So next is all about defining location, as we talked about earlier. So with this, you will be able to see this particular interface where will be asked to select or draw one particular location, right? So I'll just go ahead and click select this tool and select any parcel. Let's say the request is for any parcel. So I'll just go ahead and select this 72 parcel. As you can see, I've selected the parcel and we'll proceed. Within a few seconds, we will be able to see that location also under the job 7 properties. At the bottom, you'll see the request. So all this information is available to all the users who are part of the workflow. So you can see at the bottom right, job 7 location is clearly visible now. So this is where job 7 has to be. It's all about, like, again, parcel is selected, which we have received a request from the citizen about the partition. Right. Now next step is for the editing team, where they will access this workflow in ArcGIS Pro with the predefined map. Right. So what I'll do for this, we need to go to Pro now. As you can see here, I have logged in with the same account here, and I'm able to access the workflow pane, as you can see here on your right hand side. I'll just refresh this button because I need to access the job 7, right? Workflow job 7. As you can see, it's available now for me. And since I'm part of the workflow, I will go ahead and run this step from here itself, right? So once I run, it will download the latest ArcGIS Pro project from your either portal or ArcGIS Online, and it will have that particular layer. So this can be a service, like your branch versioning service, right? So you can create a version out of it and you can distribute or share that version with the field team or editing team. Then using ArcGIS Pro standard editing tools, you can cut and fill, or you can use Kogo tools also and create a partition as per the request received. Let's say for this parcel number 72. So if you go to edit button here, so there are lots of tools available like this, something called split, divide, clip, which will help you to divide the polygon as per the request. Once we do that, we'll go ahead and finish this step. So once my job is done of editing, I will just click finish here. We'll go to the web application. You can see here the job is completed by the editing team. Next step is field survey. We'll run this step now. So here we have configured one question. It's kind of, you can create a loop also. If like if you do bypass one job such as field survey, you can do that as well. So here the question is field survey needed. I'll go ahead and click yes. So which basically will take you to the another web page. So some of you must have already aware something called workforce application, right? Which is basically used for assigning field tasks to your field team. So you can see this is the dedicated web page which we have configured for the land parcel administration. So I'll go ahead and create an assignment for the field team. Click on the assignment and then the survey. Let's say 72. I'll select that as an address. Assign it to, let's say, you will see the list of field workers from your organization here. And you can define the priority here, due date, and the job ID, which can be your workflow manager job ID, right? Okay, that's it. Field crew will receive notification on their ArcGIS Workforce mobile app. As you can see, this is my mobile device. Currently, as of now, I'm using the Workforce app, and field crew will be able to see all those tasks that have been assigned. Right? So let me take just any one of them for the time. I can see I've selected one assignment. I'll be taken there, and you can start the assignment from here. Right? Started it, and then I can scroll down and see for the field editing or verification, we are going to use app called ArcGIS Field Maps app. Right? So just launch on that, click on that, which will take me to the ArcGIS Field Maps app, right? With the preloaded map and all. So I'll just zoom out a little bit, go to the area of interest by using bookmarks. So you can see the same parcels now available. So there are some tools available here, which we can use it for editing or attribute updation and all, or simply do the physical verification, right? Whether see the documents, you can say whether they're authentic or see on actual ground. You can conduct the survey with the help of GNSS receivers and all, and to carry out the edit work and all, right? Then once that is done, I will simply go ahead and finish the job is done. Let's go back to the workflow. Here. So field verification is completed. We'll click on the complete step here. Now the job goes to the review edits, that is QA/QC team. And in the interest of time, I'm the only user right now running all those steps, right? But in reality, as you know, in like business practices, it has to be done by different users. So that you can configure with the help of these arrows. So let me just show you that. If I select this arrow, right, as you can see, I have selected this arrow here, and under the properties tab, you can define to use which user it has to be assigned, like this. So you can see like I'm listed here. So you'll be able to see multiple groups also. So from here you design the assignment part, which specific user or a group of QA/QC users. So all this needs to be configured with the help of this path. Now let's click on this QAQC step where we are about to edit the review the edits, right? So we'll be taken to the one of the web application that is available. So you can see we have created this app here. You can use Experience Builder also, or if you are looking for dashboard, that also can be integrated. Apart from that, let's say I am looking for particular parcel number 72. We can use these widgets which are available quickly configured by the admin. Then you can use this coordinate converter. So this is like configurable app as you're aware. So the QAQC team will just verify the edits in the web application. So for them, there is no need to open ArcGIS Pro and do the verification. But in certain scenarios that might be needed, let's say you want to use ArcGIS data review, right, for the topological tools. So those requires ArcGIS Pro needs to be accessed. So QAQC team will also use ArcGIS Pro, conduct QAQC using the ArcGIS data reviewer checks and find out or document those errors. And those errors can be then shared with the editing team. So that entire workflow can be also configured. Let's proceed now, complete this step. So next is sending an email to the editor that we have accepted all the edits that have been made, right, as per the requirement from the user. We will go ahead and send an email to the applicant that we have processed your request and everything has been changed as per the request. Send copy, physical copy to the applicant's address. Proceed. And finish the job. So in the end, you will see the job is finished and there is no further active step available. So this is how entire workflow runs. And as I said, it's completely configurable as per the business requirements. Everything gets recorded here under the job history tab. As you can see here, we spend close to 2 minutes on the field verification. This is just, as you know, like some sample that we are running so far. And document validation, everything gets recorded. Apart from that, you can use some of the advanced functionalities that basically come with the workflow manager. One possible example could be putting in hold on the job, right? Let me show you how that works. Let's say I'm going to create another job, which will be job 8 for us. And let's say it has some dependency in other job, right? Correct. So I'm just going to add owner here, which is another request. And I know there is a dependency of that job on another job. So I'll just click on the all jobs here. That's right, we have dependency on this job called job number 3. So I'm just copying job ID here. I will go here and put an on active hold. Step should not be running while running that holds and all. Okay, let's try here. Okay, fine. This might be due to as we are running the job, right? So that might create a problem. So make sure that you are not running any particular step. Like should not be accessing any web page that is associated with your workflow. But before that, I will show you something called dependency also. Job ID from job number 3, and we'll configure the. So what does this mean? Meaning you cannot run this the next step of this job number 9 until and unless you run the step of add attachment from job number 3, right? So job number 9 is basically dependent on one of the step of job 3. can see dependency added successfully, right? You can see it. So I'll go ahead, and job 3 is right here. As you can see, we are currently at assigning step only, update document. Yeah, so this is the step needs to be completed to create the to run the job number 9, right? So the attachment is completed here. We'll proceed now. Let's go here now. You can see that the release is about to get released. The hold is about to be released. Sorry. Let's take a few seconds again. Just still buffering. Okay, might take a while. In the meantime, let me show you the dashboard that was view I was talking about earlier. So here you can see the manage tab, which is available for the management, where they can quickly see the number of jobs. You can see the total 3 number of jobs, overdue nothing so far, and the details of it. So at the bottom you can see, let's say let's access the job number 4 and refresh it once. So you can see all the jobs have been listed now, all 5 jobs. And if you click on the job number 9, you will see current step is right here, right? We are stuck at the manual step. And we can go ahead and see all the details about it. So if you go to the job location tab, we'll be able to see all the locations associated with the job here. So that is all about Workflow Manager, and few things like the new additions in the latest version of ArcGIS Workflow Manager. Let me just show you quickly. So with the help of now these buttons called import data and export data, you can quickly export your workflows, and you can import and in another workflow, right? So let's say you have a colleague who has created or designed the workflow. So you can simply export that, and once you receive it, you can import that. So to avoid that duplication, right, or extra work. So this is one of the new enhancements that happened recently that you can utilize it in your projects. Right? So that's all from my side.